Hello and welcome to Grace, Gratitude, and Generosity, the video ministry of Robbinsdale Parkway United Church of Christ. It is a gift to be with you all. I'm Reverend T. Michael Rock, one of the pastors here at Robbinsdale Parkway, and we are so glad that you are in this, and I hope that you like and subscribe this video so you can know when they're coming in the weeks to come. It's a precious thing to be connected in this way, to know that our hearts in this community of faith are moved when your life calls us into this relationship, that we feel pain when you feel pain, we feel joy when you feel joy, we celebrate together, we mourn together, we grieve together, and that's what community is about and why we are called into community all the time. Many people say that you can't really transform and really be your whole self without a sense of community. We need to kind of share in those experiences together so that we can grow and learn and be supported in our lives. I'm so blessed by the people who do come and share what's happening and know that the best thing we ever do is to be in relationship with each other, to be in honest, true relationship with each other, which is why it's so painful when people are hurt and scared and full of anxiety in their lives, and certainly happening right now in the midst of a rash of gun violence that is just becoming more and more pervasive on the news and also in our own backyards. We've had several homicides here in Robbinsdale, and we know that that's happening all over the world, all over the country. And the access and the availability of these firearms is just not a healthy thing for our world, because what the guns do in our personal lives and our communal lives is they separate us from one another. There's a big fear around guns, whether you have one or don't have one, right? The whole idea of a firearm causes fear for the one who's carrying it and for the one who is on the other end. And that is an antithesis of what we're about as a faith community. To remove guns allows us to find a way to be in relationship, to share a story, to not have a barrier between us, to not have a suspicion that we are out to hurt or harm or take something from one another. The presence of a firearm causes some people to feel safer, but isolated in that safety. They feel very alone in that safety. It separates them from those that could be in relationship, that could be part of their community of care and love and support. And so I want to remind folks that in this spirit of grace and gratitude and generosity, there's just no room for us to hold on to firearms as a way to build a sense of grace and gratitude and giving of ourselves with each other. These are barriers in the way of who we are called to be. They're barriers in the way of our who we're going to be as people, as community, and as a country. The more guns we have, the more we're separated from each other and from the possibility of these relationships. We've noticed that in the warring community as well. During the Cold War and the proliferation of nuclear weapons, we just became more and more isolated from other parts of the world. What we need to do, friends, as people, as communities, and as a nation, is to let go of our need or our desire or our want or what some people say is our right to own firearms. It is not something that helps heal the soul. In fact, it harms us because it causes so much of that separation. And so I hope and pray for a world where there is less and less firearms. Certainly the access to firearms that can kill multiple people in a short amount of time have no use in our world. Military weapons also separate us from each other and from the potentiality of those relationships. And the biggest of our weapons, the nuclear weapons, do this great harm to the soul of our country. I was a big part of the nuclear sane freeze movement back in the 80s, and that whole point of that was that the soul of America was being harmed by the development and the proliferation that we could destroy the world that many times over. harmed us as a people. It's separated us from the amazing stories and people around the globe. And so let us find that place where we can enter into relationship, to enter into vulnerability and intimacy that will heal us. And let us enter in to an experience of grace and gratitude and generosity and be free, really free, from all that takes us away from the possibility of love and care and compassion for each other. May this video and all of our ministries here at Robbinsdale Parkway find a place to heal your precious soul.